like that. You have the whole thing going on here. So what are you doing? You're trying to figure out how this is going to work for your thing. So when you find words like hell, it's very important to get to the root of them because they don't say hell. There are all these other words that mean different things, but they all mean one thing, and that's separation from God. That's the most important part of it. So like you can start to parse ideas like that, and then you can debate Christians and use these ideas because they don't know them. They never know them.
So
So once you break this shit out, you like BTFO them.
separation from God.
Like, so for example, Sheol is the Old Testament word that's usually translated hell. It literally means grave, and the saints go there. It's not a place of burning fire. It is the graves to the dust. They go away. They get buried and they are gone, is what that means. It doesn't say anything about an afterlife. It doesn't imply anything. So then you get to the New Testament. Often it's Hades. When Jesus is talking, Hades is used. But is it actually the Greek Hades? What's going on there? Why are they using a pagan word for the underworld? But when you start to look at the context, you realize that Hades is synonymous with Sheol. It's just a different word, but it means the exact same thing in like how they're using it. Then you look at other words. You find Gehenna. Gehenna was like a fucking trash dump. It was an ancient trash dump where they just burned shit and like dogs would eat refuse and shit like that. So it's like a place of shit. But like it doesn't really say a burning hell. It doesn't have the dogma of hell. It says like you're going to be in a place of ruin, you know? A place of filth. Like these are very spiritual ideas. It doesn't mean you're going to go underground and burn and they're going to poke you with pointy sticks or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how you start to be able to parse this stuff and like argue it. Or you have ideas like Tartarus. Well, like Tartarus is literally darkness. In my mind, it is the opposite of light. Light would be closeness to God. That's usually how light is used in the Bible. So darkness is away from God. I believe those are all of the words that are translated hell in the Bible.
So hell
Might be
is
one more.
manifested on earth as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is hell is a state of mind. You can experience hell anywhere. You can experience hell right now, or you can experience heaven right now. Like it's all state of mind stuff. And the thing is like some people like you know, they are living in a world of hell. There are people in like rape dungeons right now, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like that's hell. And it turns out it doesn't matter where you are, but you can still experience these things.
That shit crazy, dog.
And heaven is never talked about like as a place in the Bible. It's used like metaphorically as the abode of God, but never in any specific way that makes you think it's like clouds where you go after you die. That's just not there.
No.
Usually heavens literally refers to the sky in the Bible. They talk about when they're talking about like astrology and like stuff like that, they'll say it as like worshiping the heavens.
And yeah, do you consider the Book of Enoch like canon?
Yeah. But at the same time I don't know that it's all that useful.
Well, I'm just asking about that because
Canon's a
like
tough one. I'm not really a canon guy.
the
I don't like if it's an old fucking scripture that like people believed and it's still around, like I'm gonna assume it's got value.
yeah,
I don't know so much about
like
canon.
yeah, they did reference it in the Bible.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, and Enoch himself, the man, is mentioned as well. Um,
Oh yeah.
so like, but like, what I'm saying is like he went into a fever dream, um, where he had the vision of the heavenly place where God dwells, which was a very interesting um
Yeah.
kind of vision because it was talking about like crystalline palaces and
Here's the thing about Enoch though,
gates
is
of
that he might have
fire.
seen this place. Enoch didn't die.
Yeah.
So the one guy who can tell you what it looks like didn't even die. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's talking about an afterlife. It's saying something else.
was.
It's talking about usually when you see these things, it's manifestations of God's power, of His magnificence. That's where a lot of these things can get lost in translation because some of it, like, they're describing things that were well known to the people of the time who would have known exactly what they meant. And here, we don't know what the fuck things like that look like or what they mean.
Oh, what's up, guys? We got some people in the chat.
We're live now. We are live.
Yeah, we've been live. They got all the
We've
juicy
been
bits.
live.
The juicy bits
That's
of you
good.
talking.
That's good.
Says Jordan Peters said something similar to anyone can be in hell.
We just keep talking about Jordan Peterson. That guy is such a fucking dweeb. He literally wants know your customer laws on the internet. The thing that ruined cryptocurrency. He wants you all doxxed for being nasty, nasty trolls.
Really?
Guy's an asshole. Someone should do something about that. Throw a bunch of. I'd hit him right in the fucking head with a lobster, dude. As hard as I can. I don't give a shit. Do we have people in the chat? That's what I want. Oh, we just got the same old crew in the chat. Daniel's in the chat. We got people.
What's up? What's up, guys?
Whoop whoop.
We're just talking about some good old God
Talking about metaphysics, mysticism. We're talking about God right now. Dude, you want to go home? Y'all ever just want to go home? I want to go home. We're getting on the bus right now, dude. I can assure you we're going home, one by one. First, you got to experience everything. You got to suffer. When you've suffered enough, we're going to head home right in the bosom of the Lord. It's going to be great. There's many mansions. You get one. Jordan is a dweeb, but he's not wrong about people being in hell. That's the problem with the West. These are what fucking qualify as like hot takes, dude. It's not. It's like this is like a basic fucking psychology and mysticism. Like Jordan Peterson's a guy who like you like read books and went to college. Like I couldn't do it. I'll give you that, but I still feel like I know more than that guy. I can't stand him. What's up, Flame?
I don't know, dude. I don't know nothing about that guy's life.
About his life? He don't know nothing about his life. He's all fucking hopped up on Xanax. He has no idea what's going on.
From what I heard,
talk about hell.
From what I heard, like he had it pretty easy. But like I don't know that for a fucking fact.
But I don't know, man.
But like
all I know,
the thing is like all these hot takes. Like there's no such thing as a hot take. You know what? Somebody asked me like what's my philosophy, and I was like, I told him I was like, why? It's nothing I should really elaborate on because it's like it's nothing new, man. Like I'm not gonna tell you anything that you're not gonna already know subconsciously.
Subconsciously.
Like no, it's for
these
real.
motherfuckers don't know anything. It's like, the world's more misguided than it's ever been. You can see that like in the fucking elections. You have people. These people are they're more disenfranchised than they've ever been. And yet you see like an election take place and like none of the incumbents even get kicked out. And it's like, wow, so there's more disenfranchisement and more apathy. It's like, we all know we got a gun to our head. Just pull the trigger already, man. And that's the attitude now. And, you know, it's a void that spirituality is supposed to fill, in all honesty.
Yes. It's supposed to usurp this order. God is going to usurp this man-made system, and it's going to be it's going to look like chaos to the normies, but for people who know, we're going to be like happy and we're going to be laughing. We're going to be.
Well, that's what it is when you ride the Kali Yuga, man. When you know it's part of God's plan, it's just the way it's supposed to be. You know, and you're not supposed to be happy. You're supposed to suffer. God damn it. Fucking meant to. I don't know. It's whack. Sure wish I could end this suffering. Feels like I've done this a million times already. So what do? You stop identifying as the doer. You expect no reward from the doing. Stop identifying with yourself. Make all things a sacrifice to God. Everything is a burnt offering, you know? Every
That's
single thing I
pretty
do. That is
deep
my
of an
duty.
answer.
And I only do my duty. Don't ask any more of me. If it's not my duty, I don't want to fucking do it. Okay? I'm not getting involved in no shit that has nothing to do with me. Right? What does have to do with me? I don't know what does. Is it the cells of my body? Is it the thoughts in my head that are changing constantly, dude? Or is it the stars in the sky and the dirt on the ground? Does that have everything to do with me? Could it even be if I was not there to observe it? What does that tell me? That tells me that I am the only one who can change it from my perspective. And even if someone else changed the world, like my world could still suck, man. And they would have done nothing for me because I have to save myself,
That's true.
right? And it's like people look at the world and they're like, why would God allow this? Why would he allow pedophiles to run the world? Like, why? But then you're like, why do I allow it? You know? And now, obviously, one person can't just like magically change it just by like realizing that. But if we all realized it, it would change, right? Is that a gradual thing? Maybe that's a gradual thing that occurs, bringing us closer to finality, man. A little bit of rest, maybe one day.
What do you mean by
Stuff flame.
rest? What do you mean
I
by rest?
I'm not sure. I mean, I believe in reincarnation. I tend to believe that we choose to come here, like with a
Oh, you mean
purpose.
rest as in returning to the Godhead.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
To infinity unmanifest, to
You
be
feel
eternally,
you feel like we're
infinitely.
choosing to come back?
I think we all do. At least agree. At least agree. I think there's consent involved. Yeah.
There's some consent.
Consenting with what? Consenting with yourself. Pieces of the objective consenting with itself and
I
becoming
thought
subjective. I'm not sure exactly.
I was thinking that we're sent by God out here. That's
Come on.
a little different.
I think we are God out here. I think we got out here, dude. Little
Well,
G God,
like
little G God, but all of us is maybe big
yeah,
G God.
yeah. Well, I'm saying like the higher consciousness, the big G, is sending us out here. The
Sending.
the
It's going. It's experiencing. It wants to experience. It needs to know itself.
Drabir Ortiz. We all have individual power to change things. There is no will to do so, to accept the responsibility of the aftermath.
True acceptance of responsibility. A guy who taught me about the Bible once told me, like, people don't want to talk about the devil because they don't like looking at themselves in the mirror. And there's truth to that.
Dude,
But at the same time, if you realize
yeah,
that you have the power of the divine with you, you'd have to accept that responsibility too. That's just as scary.
yeah. That's funny because you said that. You remember when we were at the gathering of the Juggalos and I had that interview? You weren't there, but like I had an interview with a Christian dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said that same thing that people are afraid of what they'll find and see. And that's like kind of the reason why like some people don't want uh to like partake like in psychedelics and stuff like that as well because like they have a fear of losing control because like my belief is like specifically acid doesn't really change somebody, it makes you more you. It's a more exaggerate, it makes you more of an exaggerated version of yourself. So like some
That's how I feel
people,
about alcohol.
oh yeah, alcohol, but alcohol is a betrayer though. That's because like I'm not gonna lie because like I've been in some situations when I've seen somebody drink like and they're like really intoxicated like there's a sense of worry and a fear for them because like I don't know how the alcohol is going to betray them because like for instance we have a friend that comes into the Discord a lot. I'm not gonna say who, but like he likes to drink like a lot. And I've noticed like when he starts getting trashed, he like it betrays him so bad because like he starts acting like a complete prick and starts fighting with everybody and just like dude like shut the fuck up, bro.
You
But
never seen LSD betray anyone?
oh, LSD will betray you in a different way. Like it, like I said, like it's alcohol is a betrayer because like it's gonna make you more belligerent, like more like in the sense like a sloppier, slower version of yourself. But like acid would probably make you more betray yourself in a more, I guess, like in a positive, more happy way. Like I
Hmm.
guess it like it. I could see situations where um acid would definitely get you in trouble and will get myself in trouble.
I
Like,
once saw a guy on acid
uh-huh.
realize that he was gay.
What?
And now I'm pretty sure I was on acid too, so things are weird. But I don't remember what happened. Something was said, something happened, and this dude he kept like saying these things to like convince him. And I swear that's all I could think it was saying these things to convince himself he was straight. And it's all he could say as he just sat there. And one of them, the only one I remember specifically, was I love to ride. I love to ride clit. It was
What?
just about the gayest thing I can imagine someone saying.
That's fucking
You ever
weird.
talk about riding clit before?
Nah,
That's not what you do.
that's not what he was thinking about.
I think he was like fighting thoughts. I think the
Yeah,
LSD was like
uh,
expressing
it may,
himself
yeah,
to
yeah,
himself.
yeah, like that. I guess that's like not in a because like I guess if he was drinking, he probably like act with aggression towards his
I was
gay
an idiot back in
thoughts.
the day, dude. I would show up at parties with like a fucking like a sheet of acid and like a bunch of DMT and be like, "Who's in, dude?" And like not realizing that, man, maybe these people
I can't
aren't ready
handle
for
it.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would happen a lot. There's the one time I showed up at a Halloween party and like a guy in a wolf costume immediately approached me. I'm like, "Here's LSD, bro." He goes, he's like
I think you
going
told
nuts
me
at this
about
party,
this.
dude. Well, I've talked about it. It's a good story. He kept demanding someone piss in his cup so he could have some cinnamon water. I don't know. I don't know what it means. Talking about cloppers, it's like My Little Pony shit. Then, like at one point, now I had a bunch of nitrous oxide too, along with all of these other things. I had a bunch of nitrous chargers, like the little canisters, whippets, and fucking. I had a box of them, and they're just like spent chargers. There's just a shitload of them, and I'm like putting them away, and they jingle as they're like hitting each other. And I hear this dude from his tent be like, "Yo, who's got the chains?" I don't know what he thought was going on.
Wow.
Sometimes it's just not a good idea to give LSD to fucking whoever.
Yeah, yeah, dude, it's power in your hands, man. Like it really is. Like, if to be honest, like I've been tempted to use that power.
Just
Like,
dose the shit out of somebody.
yeah, dude. I mean, shit. I was about to do it at the gathering, bro. I was about to do it to what's his fucking face?
Dog, Flame be at the gathering with the weakest acid I've ever done in my life. He ain't dosing
Bullshit,
fucking
dude.
nobody. Yeah, that shit was so weak. It was
Nah,
so fucking weak.
shut your
I
ass
did,
up.
because I did like two hits and it was like barely tripping.
You were probably on the whole cocktail of other shit.
I was, but I did one hit at this gathering and I was fucked.
For real. What was it?
Oh,
Jet or
baby.
Jupiter?
It was that deadhead shit. That's what I was told, at least.
Word. What fucking I forgot what I was about to fucking say, dude. What were we just talking about?
LSD, tripping balls at the gathering, dude.
Oh yeah,
How
yeah.
could you forget?
Fucking yeah, dude. I was thinking about like dosing him, but fucking the thing is, it's like yeah, I was. Do you remember what I was telling you about the other day? What I was like losing, like like my sense of self. I was like a blank slate or something.
Oh, cool.
I came to the realization of like I guess like that was that right there was kind of a real danger because like I think that's the state where people get MK Ultra at.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So like
That's what propaganda is magic, dude.
yeah.
That's
And
when you cast the spell. Right when they're in that trance. Bam.
yeah, that's the thing. Like Charles Manson's methods on how he was able to get them to do it was is pretty accessible because like he didn't have any fancy equipment, no MK Ultra, CIA trauma, brainwashing shit. He did it with love, dude. Love and like family bond and connection, and a little bit of hypnotism. But like
Yeah.
he was able to do
Dog.
that.
And I'll tell you this. I think the CIA has been using festivals as like a testing ground for weird experiments.
Do you think so?
I do.
Tell me. Lay it
Well, I
on,
mean, you
dude.
remember the
Have it
fucking
recorded.
Astroworld shit, right? You remember that? When they're
Dude, that was a bunch
poking
of
people with
normie
needles and
fags,
shit?
dude.
Huh?
That was a bunch of normie douches. Like they could
Poking
handle this.
people with needles?
Well, now that's weird.
That's the weird part. No, that's what all the really weird shit was. There are people poked with needles at that fucking thing. But the Grateful Dead was definitely involved in the CIA acid scene. I mean, the CIA was involved with Albert Hoffman. Um, Hoffman and all these people, they had connections to the dead. The members of the Grateful Dead go to Bohemian Grove. And like when they're asked about it on camera, they get all nervous. And they're like, we can't really talk. I can only tell you a little bit. I can't talk about it. Like, definitely this scene has been used in MK Ultra. I think that's the hippie movement was. I think the proliferation of LSD like was an MK Ultra experiment essentially.
Yeah,
I think it could be one that could blow up in their faces.
they did.
Yeah,
Charles
might have.
Manson. They lost control of him.
And it's funny, I see it in a lot like a similar sense almost as like the internet, where it's like the internet was like proliferated by the fucking state essentially.
Yeah.
They created it, and they like let it loose. And then like a bunch of people started fucking dabbling in it and like it started being really useful. And then they're like, all right, well, these guys are just fucking around. It's just a fad for now. Like eventually, like by the time anybody else is on here, we'll have a total handle on it. But it's like they have a handle on the internet now. They have everything. And yet they still can't stop the shit posting and like the, you know what I'm talking, the internet shit, the real Wild West internet shit. You can't stop it because it already happened. And like I see LSD very similar, whereas like they're using it to experiment. People start using it, but then they start using it for positive things, and they're like, all right, well, don't worry about these hippies. No one's gonna understand this shit. And eventually, like the CIA has like the monopoly on like the LSD culture, but still that revolutionary spirit is there because that's the nature of it.
Yeah, because they can control everybody. That's the beauty of decentralization is the individual. Like for instance, like what I like to do is like just microdosing it, and try to facilitate and share that experience with other people. Try to have those learning experiences.
Yeah, and that's why I want to fucking. I'd love to be able to take the show on the road. I'd love to go to festivals, sell merch, fucking do talks, man. I'd love to do all that shit. I would like to reach out more.
Oh yeah.
Got ideas, man. I'm more proven for seminars than most of the hippie bullshit at festivals.
You know the funny thing I saw today, Ancient Aliens are doing a live shows now. It's like how funny is that we were just talking about that and you have now these dude now this is like brand new just like got announced. So I was like, oh wow, like isn't that? What are the chances of that? So like now you gotta compete with that wacky haired motherfucker Yakov.
Yeah, I could see him showing up at festivals. I'd party with him.
No, there's there's like videos and pictures of him in like clubs and shit, arms around women.
That could be you. You just got to come to the Skinwalker meetups.
Hell yeah. The next one's in January.
Looking at a fest in Williamsport. I believe it's Williamsport, PA, in January. Threestival. Hit that bitch up. I'm doing these fucking tie dyes. This is like the first tie dye me and my girlfriend did, so it's like it's just splatter everywhere. But yet it's one of my favorite shirts already. We got a bunch of tie dyes happening. I got like anime tie dyes. I need to get a heat press so I can start printing my own shit. That's the dream, baby.
Oh, so like you made an LLC or anything? So you could just like
I'm an
start
outlaw,
writing
dude.
off all that shit?
Dude, I just put CEO founder on my business card. I don't know how any of this works.
Dude, you gotta write your because like if you're gonna start making money, dude, like if if you have yourself as an entity underneath like a company, then you don't like all those the equipment and stuff are like write-offs.
Cool,
Yeah, so like you're not paying taxes at the end of the year.
cool. Uh, yeah. Hate taxes.
Yeah, I fucking hate.
Barely think about
You
them.
know that's funny because I think about them a lot. I'm just like, how the fuck am I gonna like you gotta
Thanks for everything, dude. I was remembering that time Obama charged me $700 for not having health care.
fuck that. God damn that dude.
Too funny. Hate that guy. Glad he went back to Kenya where it can be the village idiot.
Thanks a lot, Obama.
Yeah, thanks, Obama. Obese.
Damn, we don't got anybody watching us anymore.
Doug,
It's
this
three.
page is
Yeah.
throttled, bro.
What do you mean throttled?
It's choked to death. It fucking used to get, every fucking post almost used to get hundreds of shares.
What was the content? The memes?
Well, the same shit.
No, so
The
nothing
same
changed.
shit. Half the same goddamn memes.
What if what if they're like throttling us so we had to pay for promo?
Well, it's for two reasons. Community guideline strikes that literally, like, I don't know if it does now, but it said on the page for a long time, your page is deprioritized due to community guideline strikes. So that's number one. Number two, yeah, they want you to pay. Number three, even if you did pay, I don't think they'd actually do anything. It might like double the views, but that's not enough, dude. They killed me. They killed the page. It sucks. It's like now people sometimes look at it and they're like, "You do pretty good numbers." It's like, dude, no, I don't. I can assure you, I do not. Like, fucking thousands of likes used to be a normal thing before this shit got totally deprioritized. They fucked my shit up, bad, dude. Oh, it's frustrating. That's why we got to find a new venue for this, a new format, new audiences. Where this fucking guy plane go
New
in
audiences.
trains? But
No,
like,
just
dude, here's the thing: is like we actually are like kind of bad dudes. Like we'll show up at the gathering and start fucking just doing every line imaginable. Like these motherfuckers on the internet and this whole podcast scene in general, I would say, been people who are like pretending to be
fucking
rebels and
dorks,
like
dude.
bad. They're dorks.
They're spurgs.
They don't go out of
It's
their house.
like
They will have a million reasons why they can't meet a girl. It's pathetic.
yeah.
So
Definitely
like
found
here's
that.
the fact of the matter is, so when you're on the internet at this point, people just assume you're pathetic. And it's not like people are judging you for that. It's like I'm pathetic too. I need pathetic content to watch. Like, but fuck that. How about like we have some fucking real fun and we make some real rebel content?
I like what you're saying,
Well,
Gakko.
it's like, dude, I'm just like, for me, yeah, I want to show up at some fucking party and have like a ballin' ass seminar, and I want to fucking sell bootleg shit. Fuck yeah, you know what I mean? But it's like we're going to places where you can literally sell cocaine in front of the cops, and they don't do anything. I'm not advocating you do that, you know. I'm saying you can do pretty much anything you
He's
want.
saying this is a festival, guys. FYI, this is not in the street. This is like in a special
Oh,
secret,
and I would
halfway
never. No,
secret.
but the thing is, it's not even secret. Like I would never sell cocaine, but there are just tons of places where they just do, and they get away with it. And it's because like there's still places where you can be a fucking rebel. They're few and far between, but like come party.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to party with the rebels. I want to sell my fucking shitty swag next to the guy with the booth selling cocaine. I don't want to sell cocaine, but I want to be in the same vicinity because I know this is the place to be fucking doing shit,
See,
right?
is there a way to get the chat like in OBS or?
Um, yeah, there's ways. Restream is one of them. You go to restream.io. I showed you all this, right? If you can use
Restream.
that,
Okay.
you can get the chat. But on Restream you got to pay to use Facebook pages. So there's other ways to do it. There's ways. Saying y'all want to ride the Kali Yuga, then ride the Kali Yuga. And like a lot of people will be like, "Oh, what does that mean? Be degenerate?" But it's like you don't have to. You can. That's the thing, dude. Fucking like a strong guy can show up at a party like this and fucking like having a good time and like I, you'll fucking get something out of it. I don't know, man. There's nothing better than like a party where half the fun is just having to survive. Like motherfuckers dying out there. Like, dude, guy died at butthole camp. Imagine
Damn.
that news reaching his parents, dude. Your son, he died. I'm sorry. Where did he die? At butthole camp. I'm sorry.
Damn. How'd he die?
COVID. He had the clown killer variant that I had.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It was bad, dude. It was fucking bad. Well, he was dying. I was driving halfway across the country, getting wrecked. Weakling.
Damn. He got
Yeah.
roasted. So like,
But
go on.
well, see at the gathering, like I'm saying, motherfuckers are surviving. It's either 100 degrees or it's downpouring. You don't get no in between. You get one or the other.
Yeah.
Now, what that means is like motherfuckers are like fucking dehydrated. They need water and sustenance. They don't even realize it because they're too fucking hopped up. So you gotta like look out for people in that way. But then it's like when the downpour starts, like, all right, well, everybody grab a side of the canopy, make sure this whole thing doesn't collapse. And like you got and the thing is, we're the fucking crew with the fucking canopy, the giant wedding tent, the generator, the inflatable couches, the cool lights and all that shit. So when everything's falling apart, this is number one priority. That ever comes and fucking helps out because god damn it, everybody needs that fucking generator, you know? The whole fucking time people are coming up to us and like, could we use your shit? We'll give you this. And it's like real community vibes, but out there surviving together. It's fucking legit.
I feel you, dude. I just can't wait till we get to go to gathering again. But you're saying you want to go to something else though.
I mean, I don't know. We'll wait and see. But like, yeah, I've been to the Gathering twice. There's many other festivals I'd like to go to. How many big festivals can I get in a year? I'd say one, honestly. Get smaller ones in. But yeah, I can't do no fucking. How much that trip cost altogether? It's like $1,000, right? Minimum in my mind.
Yeah.
And it's like I got festivals. Like we'll have festivals that we can go to where it's like $60 and it's all local. You know, it's just easier. Like we all got fucking local summer fests. We
Yeah.
all do, I'm sure, even if you don't know about it.
Even that would be like closer for me to come over there.
Yeah,
You're talking about like PA, right?
yeah, potentially. There's many places. Dude, I tell you what, man, I got fests that are like right around the corner from me, dog. Like legit fests. Where we could fucking go fest legit 100% and also be able to drive back to my house anytime we want.
Hell yeah.
It's be a 20-minute drive. It's good shit. You going to bed or what?
uh, oh no, man. Are you tired?
No, but you ain't helping me talk, dude.
Yeah.
I'm streaming. I don't want streaming nothing to say. That shit's boring. I have music
I
playing.
figured. Do you want to stay up a little bit more? Because
I'll stay up.
I'll get a drink.
I'll stay up.
I'll be right back.
Hey, everybody. How are you? I haven't been streaming much. Why hasn't Yakov been streaming? Well, because you see, I want to blow my head off. It's not my fault. They let pedophiles run the government. I don't fucking know what they were thinking. They thought it was a good idea all this time. I said it was a bad idea. I did. Now I'm out here reading fucking leftist revolutionary books, dude. And that's maybe something to think about. Now, the thing is, like, I don't recommend revolutionary books for everyone. No. Only if you already have a sound ideological framework. And I know out there everybody's thinking, that sounds like me. I have a sound ideological framework. I can tell you that a lot of people who are thinking that are wrong. Um, now, when you read revolutionary books, the last thing you want to do is be reading it being like, man, he sure is right about the points he's making about society. Fuck no. You already decided how you feel about society. Don't listen to that asshole. The only thing that guy got right is how to fuck the system up, how to be a revolutionary, how to infiltrate, how to subvert. And like when you read like the 60s leftist revolutionaries, like these guys like won, man. And it's the funniest thing when you read these books, it's almost like they believe something. It's almost like they had an ideology. No, they won, and immediately they fucking showed their true colors that centralization of power was the only goal. Now, their strategies worked. So when you read them, when you read these books, you're picking up strategy.
Alright, what are you talking about, Yak?
Revolutionary books.
Like what?
Like, for example, I started reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. Now, a lot of people don't necessarily think leftist like when they think Malcolm X, but in those days, that was essentially the terms. Um, Things have changed a lot since then. I've also been reading Steal This Book by Abby Hoffman, which might as well be entitled Be an N-Word to the System, because it's just how to like fucking how to like jack shit and like hop trains and like nonsense like that. But I think like in its ideas about like guerrilla media, in its ideas about it's got like stuff about like homemade weapons and stuff, and it's very reminiscent of ideas today about like propaganda on the internet where like anybody can just make a stream or a podcast or
It's
3D printing where anybody can just print the firearm suddenly. It's got a lot of ideas that they just work. They still work. They're timeless ideas. You just have to kind of rethink them.
yeah.
I've been reading Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals,
Yeah, I
which
was about to say.
Andrew Breitbart always recommended that. The interesting thing about that book, it immediately starts off by thanking Lucifer for rebelling against the Lord.
Uh, um, Yeah, that all that sounds very punk because I when I was at this punk show over the weekend last like God no Halloween was it like I picked up these pamphlets. A lot of these pamphlets were books on how to like fight the system. Like what like it was a there was one that was actually advocating for uh the police, like was it defunding the police, like abolishing
Yeah.
the police and stuff. And like I understand their viewpoint, but the thing is like that's going to take a lot of responsibility that I don't feel like people are actually going to be willing to take.
Well, the
But
leftist problem is that, and it's really the same
Oh,
thing
you're
on all
don't
sides.
get
I don't even
political
want to
now.
just say it's the problem. Well, it's not even like that's the thing is once you understand, like once you got this, man, it's all one thing.
yeah,
It's about fucking centralization of power. All these leftists think they're going to use the federal government to enact these things, but
yeah,
at the end of the day, the only
yeah,
people that benefit are the people who wanted more power.
yeah,
And they'll use any excuse to get it. And now the distinction between decentralization and centralization, it reflects the idea of like absolute reality, objective reality being God, being the unmanifest infinity versus like the illusion of duality that like is just illusory. Now, the thing is, centralization, it implies otherness like at its very root, right? Like we are the rulers, they are the subjects. You know what I mean? Or like
yeah,
we are this nation, they are that nation. That centralization implies all of these things implicitly,
yeah,
maybe explicitly. But and it's not even to say they're all necessarily bad things. Like I think they have a time and a place, but we're in a time where I think like we have the means to make every man sort of a king in his own right.
yeah,
We have the ability to eliminate the scarcity of resources. We have enough resources to take care of everybody many times over. The only thing that's in the way is centralization. The fact that these centralized authorities have decided that it's not in their best
yeah.
interest
These
to
are also
progress.
from like a leftist point of view, like the rich. I mean, you would have to give the devil their credit when due because like leftists they have this idea of class consciousness and that like this thing has been used here in America like with race and racism and all that stuff. So they like, but is really like the poor folk against the the rich basically.
I think there are communist ideas
Yeah.
which are ahead of their time in such a way that like I don't know, maybe using the right technologies. That's the thing. You have to like assume like post scarcity with communism. It at the end of the day, what communism ended up being was an excuse for a few cabals to centralize their authority. Now, these people weren't ideologues.
Yeah.
The same people who run this thing that we see today are essentially those same people. No, because it wasn't about a communist utopia. It's about centralization of power. And now what we see is a weird hybrid of all of these things. But the centralization is like where you see they've made the most progress. Everything is as centralized as it could be. We're in the New World Order. It's economic essentially, and it's more than that too. But like that is the core of it. Is that the whole thing is based on like this fucking Federal Reserve system that's just fucking teetering right now. It's the centralization. People look at say for example National Socialism versus communism, the way it took place in Europe, and they see it as fascism versus communism, but that's not how I see
Yeah.
it.
No, dude. Like it was literally socialism for a race of people, only specifically for a race of people. They were still socialists, except
But
they
looking
only
at it
wanted.
in terms of like what sort of socialism is this is the wrong way to look at it, when in reality it is a matter simply of decentralization. The fact is communism is international socialism. It has the same rules for everybody with a centralized planned authority. Whereas National socialism is exactly what it sounds like. It is each nation
Yeah.
having its own central authority. It
Yeah.
is more centralized versus less centralized. So all these economic labels like this, it's so fucking autistic because first of all, you have a hard time even defining them. Some motherfucker will argue that fucking point to death and it'll just bog you the fuck down. I think the reality is like if you have a cohesive nation with a people who share common goals, almost any economic system can work. They rise and fall, sometimes they merge. Sometimes the real problem is the merging of like, the corporation and the state. And like sometimes the state is in control of the corporation, sometimes the corporations control the state, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day it's the exact same fucking thing. And the real problem is centralization of power.
Yeah, especially when they're in bed with each other.
That's what I'm saying. In
You
our
see that in
current age, you
China.
can't even fucking tell the difference. Who's in control of who? I have no fucking idea. Really, they just fucking blend into one another.
That reminds me a lot of like Cyberpunk. You don't really play those video games, huh?
Nah.
So basically, uh in that world, there's this company called Arasaka. It's a Japanese company. This company is basically Japan, but the company is just like so huge. Imagine like your standard, typical oppressive mega corporation in the future. That China has something similar. I think it's Huawei or something like that. You hear that one?
Huawei.
Huawei, yeah, they're Huawei. That's basically China's Arasaka.
Here's the thing to consider is like now that AI is becoming more prominent, it's being used for more things.
Yeah.
Um, Now, what if we have like AIs that are predicting things? They can generate because like at this point, like an AI could probably use an algorithm to like generate. I don't know. Like, do you think you could like use an AI to use an algorithm to figure out a need that people have that maybe they don't even realize they have to generate something to satiate that, to overcome that need?
Like a hindsight thing because yeah, I do think
So
humans are like that. Like
an
they'll
AI
watch.
using an algorithm that combs, like, say, social media to
Yeah.
find a need that people have, and then it uses some, I don't know, imagine like 3D printing or something to invent a device or something that fixes that need, that fills that need.
But you're saying it's predictive, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think predictive's the wrong word. It's just using what's there. It's just it's seeing it a different
Yeah,
way than we would altogether.
it's like sifting through like the internet, the all the data banks to figure out. I see what you mean, but like,
So,
yeah,
do you
I
think you could like make something?
I think something like that can be true.
Do you think something it could like make
Yeah.
something that like filled a need that we didn't even comprehend, and that we could look at this thing that it's like created and not even know what the fuck to do with it?
So no, that would no that's silly. That would be
Is it
insane.
though?
Yeah, well, yeah, to us humans, yeah, because like we won't know unless it tells us.
That's what I'm saying. Now that's like
Will it tell us?
I would think it would tell only a select few.
You're talking about like some Kabbalah shit, like some.
I'm going nuts here, but
But
I'm thinking like I do think it like AI eventually
uh,
will be used to like say like plan cities, for example. So it will have to be able to actually like,
yeah,
it'd have to be tied to things that actually generate like material objects, right?
yeah.
And then you would have, I'm trying to think of a post scarcity world, honestly. I'm trying to think of a world where you have automation in charge of everything.
What if AI?
So, like, you would have an AI plan the thing, it would produce all the materials for it, and the actual production of it would be automated as well. Like the actual building, the construction would be automated, right?
Yeah.
I
But
could see that.
how would it be automated? Like it would have its own. You're talking about like some serious future tech because like we don't have
Yeah, but
any
but
robots right now.
obviously stuff that's possible,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
I feel like there's not even an argument there. Is that like the
yeah,
shit that I'm saying right now, like that's feasible in some way? I don't know how you would do it, but
yeah.
it's feasible. You have some robots out there building shit. I don't know. I don't fucking know. You'd obviously have machines that drive themselves. Like that's not ridiculous. So my point is like, how long until like they would start filling needs that we didn't even realize we had and producing things that we don't even comprehend? And what happened? What
Yeah.
is that? It's in my mind it starts to create like a society that looks like H.R. Geiger designed it.
Let me see. Let me find out who
Some
is
mix of
H.R. Geiger.
biological and mechanical, all of it looking so familiar but so alien.
Are you talking about like the hold on? Is this the dude who I think you're
The
talking
guy who
about?
designed the xenomorph and Alien, yeah.
Dude, that kind of shit, but like biomechanical stuff.
There's been AI art programs that have generated like a video where it
Yeah.
like goes through like a flip book of like the history of the world or the history of humankind and starts as like a monkey and turns into a caveman and then turns into like a medieval knight and then becomes like a modern human, but then that human turns into a fucked up xenomorph looking creature and then it becomes a fucking android and then it all becomes like this weird mix of biology and fucking mechanical shit that just doesn't make sense anymore. And I feel like that's
Yeah,
the progression of AI to things that are there that we can't even like we can't even consciously think, but
dude.
it knows they're there, and then it starts producing them, breaking our minds.
So like, this is you probably like this. Have you heard the game Scorn?
Oh,
Alright, so the game Scorn is basically like this biomechanical like hellscape. It's about the game is about like the consciousness and rebirth and stuff like that. And when you're and it's like a depiction of Earth in like in the future or something like that, where there has been a biomechanical thing. Like they in that world, like they've kind of had they kind of came up with the idea that the material human body is disposable. So like basically they build everything out of like bodies and stuff like that. It's weird. Like they have different like classes of like humans now, and some of them are used as like recycled to make make things. But like there's this also like the theme of like the consciousness where like there's like some room at the end of the game where like everybody has uploaded their minds into a singular consciousness, and some of these people are able to take from that consciousness like inhabit these like shells of bodies, and there are all sorts of weird shit like kind of like what you said in that picture. So it's kind of weird that you basically described that whole thing.
well, I don't know, man.
Is
I
that
feel like
really?
there's like a common thread of this,
Yeah, I mean, but
and I think a
that's
lot of people use Giger's like ideas and looks and everything in like the 90s and early 2000s as well as a really common motif.
yeah. I mean, like I don't. That's such a sad conclusion for mankind if we were able to uh, have that do that to ourselves. I would say,
Yeah,
but yeah, again, I mean,
I don't
evolution
know, dude. Maybe
is.
that's the Antichrist. What can I say?
Ooh. And speaking of the Antichrist, you're talking about the AI. So, like, you think like satanic demonic forces could be used in AI? Because like
Uh,
basically what they're doing is creating a just consciousness of empty shells. You could
yeah, I
say
mean,
like
here's the thing, man. Like I said before,
uh,
people don't want to talk about the devil because they don't want to look at themselves in the mirror. This AI that uses like algorithms to like, decide things based on like the fucking
yeah,
collective thoughts of
I
humanity,
know
it's
where you're
only
going
going to
with
be
this.
reflecting things that are in us.
Yeah,
It is us.
I boy. So I was thinking is like what if there was an AI that was just made to like praise God and reach enlightenment.
Well, Temple OS.
Temple OS. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, an updated Temple OS. That's
And
insane.
notice now that Temple OS, it's not an AI. It's the opposite of an AI. It doesn't network at all. It is one, singular, always. It is not the illusion, it's the reality.
That's funny.
Can't even get online with that piece of shit. That's why it's godly. But yeah, I do think we're manifesting all sorts of weird things. The demons live within us. It doesn't mean there aren't other forces, but I don't think they're the things that actually threaten us. I think our threat is from within, just like our salvation is from within. The kingdom of God is within you. Satan means adversary, and it's whoever is standing in your way of doing God's will, and that's usually you.
Accuser as well.
Yes, yes. And you are your accuser. You are your persecutor.
Yeah,
Like
that's
you
what I
are.
was thinking. That's what I was saying is like saying it could take forms of many
And then there's
things.
like the vanity of like hating yourself, being too hard on yourself without actually trying to fix anything, without actually, you know, attempting anything. You're
Right.
just fucking, that's just vanity unto itself when you just hate yourself. And that's like the accusation, I think, often. That's what takes your power away. For me, Satanism is basically like, here's the reality. If you were caught up in the illusion of duality and you don't realize that you are the universe, everything is in a manifestation of God, and when you look at other people, you see a mirror reflecting yourself and everything else. Like, if you're caught up in the illusion of duality, seeing yourself as separate from other people, separate from other things, that is Satanism. Because it's being further from God. It is, here's the thing, is like, I do think Satan is within you. He is like you at your worst. And the thing is, when you prop up the human intellect or humanity or yourself or any of those things, you've put that above God.
Yeah. That's the main tenet for those who are consciously
The Church of Satan
yeah.
identifies the human intellect as the highest intellect, as the highest thing. And
Yeah.
even they say not to hurt children, not to hurt animals. So that stuff's not qualification for like being a good religion. What is like recognizing the divinity, the shared divinity in all things. That is a godly religion. I don't think anybody really goes out there and like, and some people do, some absolute retards do it. I don't think anybody like who actually knows what they're doing goes out there and like worships the devil and demons. I think there's people who are
They
probably worshiping maybe dark forces, calling upon dark forces who don't realize it, but nobody is out there being like, I'm going to go do evil today, unless they're a complete fucking moron. Those people,
nah,
they don't get anywhere in life.
that's not how they I mean like if it suits them, they will be a good person. But like when it comes down to it, the only reason why they're being a good person is because they
But you don't think
they're
every bit of it is justified in
oh
their
they
own
just
minds?
yes,
But that's
absolutely.
what I'm saying is like nobody
That's
goes out and
where
tries to do evil.
that's where like the whole like prideful like um the only way I would think of it is like a sociopathic um because it's like like the thing about like a sociopath is that sometimes they don't do things not because they know it's not right to do, but like they know that like what could be the possible repercussions of it.
Well, I think
You know what I
trying to
mean?
like write it off as mental illness is like the wrong way to go about it. I mean, if you're going to do it that way, like why
Well,
not just say like
it's
everybody is ill for
sociopathically,
not
it's not a
wanting.
mental illness. It's like something that's like kind of learned.
Mm, I
Uh,
mean, there's both aspects of this stuff, but like this is everybody that you're describing as far as I'm concerned. Everybody's got these tendencies, greater or lesser extents. But the fact of the matter is, everyone fucking justifies what they're doing as right or wrong. I'm not even one to like, I don't sit here and be like, I'm right and you're wrong. As far as morality is concerned, the only thing I care about is looking out for myself and those I love. And I don't do it out of selfishness. It's not because I need my shit, not because I need to live. It's because that's the fucking right thing to do. That's my duty as a living thing is to maintain myself, the people around me that I trust and care about, and the things that are necessary to keep that all going. That's my duty. That's why I would do it. And now I wouldn't like. Here's the thing: like the people in power who are doing these horrible things could absolutely, probably, I think, justify what they're doing as right. They do it all the time. They try to at least. And I'm not even here to say like they are objectively wrong. I'm here to say what is objectively right is the dance between us because we can't coexist, right? It's not even to say that they are evil. I think the things they do are evil, but at the end of the day, God is propping up these evil people. God is putting all of these evil things into motion. Evil is a tool for good, as far as I'm concerned. And he's doing all of these things. But nothing is gained or lost at the end of the day because all is God. The only thing that is objective is the dance between us, which is sometimes a fight, you know? Sometimes it's a hug. Who the fuck knows? But either way, this is God's will.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm trying to figure out how to get back to the dashboard for the fucking live thing.
But this is all why the Bhagavad Gita, the prescription for yoga, was given to Arjuna on a battlefield. He stood there and he asked, God, why? Why must I go to war? These people, these are my neighbors that I'm fighting, my teachers, my family, people I've cared about. Why must I go to war with them? And Krishna said, your problem is that you see them as separate from yourself. The reality is you both have the duty to fight. You're a warrior. Now go kill them. Right? And it's not about hate, it's about doing your duty. Arjuna, you're a warrior. Go fight. It's God's will. But don't identify as the fighter. Don't look for any reward from the fighting. It simply is. We end in stream or what, dude? Flame out there, everybody.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, all right,
Must have everything minimized because I'm like frozen. There we go. Oh, dude. What's up? We end in stream or what?